Welcome on to Dunc'd On Prime, Dunc'd on YouTube. Please give us a like and subscribe, or consider subscribing to Dunc'd On Prime, where you can get 6 episodes per week. As we move forward here, we're going to do top 10 players in the NBA this week, so definitely stay tuned for that one. We've been going through our position rankings on Dunc'd On as well, which is always a fascinating exercise. We've done shooting guards through power forward so far, so a couple positions remaining. Let's talk about the Western Conference, though, Danny. And for those of y'all who are joining us for the first time, what we're going to do is spend 8 to 10 minutes on each team in the West. We each pick something that was interesting. Maybe it was a game. Maybe it's a certain player's performance. Maybe it's an offense, a defense. And we're going to break down something for all of these teams in the West. Let's start, though, with a game that took place on Saturday night. Classic game. LA Lakers 127. Denver 125. Austin Reaves, ridiculous missed free throw. We'll get to that. And tying bucket when Denver was up 3 late. And then Luka Doncic with the game winner as time nearly had expired along the left baseline. We'll break all that down for you. First, though, let's hit some stats for these teams, Danny.
We can begin with the victorious Lakers. They are 42-25 on the season, a strong 8-3 in their last 11 games. Their plus 1.6 clean the glass net rating is 13th in the NBA, 7th on offense, 20th on defense, and ESPN's BPI projects them to be the 4 seed in the West. 50-32 is their projected final season record.
Yeah, and after that 8-8 homestand, admittedly with some injuries, and the fact that, of course, they have had a negative net rating for most of the season, we felt like the Lakers were, they're just destined to be the 6th seed. They're not a threat to get into things. But much like last season, they are right there now. They control their own destiny. They're playing pretty well. They got this nice win over the Denver Nuggets, who are pretty close to full strength in this game. And LeBron James missed some time. That engendered some talk about, are they better without LeBron? He's come back. I thought he was pretty decent in this one, not necessarily controlling everything, but also contributing as well, making some big effort plays. And so they got a huge win at home, one of the better atmospheres that we've seen in Staples Center. Luka had 51 against the Bulls earlier in the week as well. He's been playing better of late as well. And so the Lakers now, they're the 4 seeds. That's pretty amazing to think about when we kind of dismissed them and thought of the big 4 included the Rockets. That's not really the case anymore, it would seem. What were some of your main takeaways from the end of this game? Because it was really a classic down the stretch.
Well, I think one of the most important and interesting dynamics for the Lakers is kind of who has the ball, who is the initiator when it comes to crunch time. And not only just that remarkable missed free throw and put back, but it was a lot of Austin Reaves. And I thought that went very well overall for the Lakers.
Yeah, and part of that was because Austin Reaves was a lot of times being guarded by Jamal Murray, or when Murray fouled out, Tim Hardaway Jr. was more involved guarding him just due to the size. And that was supposed to be part of the theory of the Lakers, is that you are going to have 3 perimeter defenders guarding those 3 guys, and one of them's not going to be that good. And so you're going to force one of those guys to defend. So they're putting Christian Braun as the main guy on Luka Doncic. They had Bruce Brown in there middle of the 4th quarter. He hit a big corner 3. Then they were trying to get Spencer Jones in there at times, but then that was kind of messing up their offense a little bit. They had Cam Johnson, who got blown by Reaves at one point in that mix too. And so that was really, I thought the Lakers were able to get pretty darn good shots overall against Denver. Now, Denver has their own ability to score against the Lakers, as we'll talk about. Yeah, I thought Reaves was great. And not only was he really good on the offensive end, and he had that huge shot at the end to send it into overtime, but I thought defensively he really fought hard. And if you get a quicker player against him out in space, or someone who's a lot bigger than him that can just cross him over and go through him, it's going to be trouble. But there are plenty of times when he was involved having to switch onto Nikola Jokic and actually made his life pretty difficult. I thought Jokic looked a little tired by the end, and Reaves was fronting him, making it a little bit hard, forced him to play later in the shot clock, working hard on the boards to box out. So I thought it was a great game from him.
And with Reaves, I mean, we talked about the potential points of failure for the Lakers in the playoffs. Like they have enough limited defenders that he's put into larger responsibilities, but I thought he's done a pretty good job holding his own and had to do a lot of the initiation in this one. I thought that went well. And I'm happy you brought up kind of the Reaves Jokic stuff because remember going back to last season, like the intrigue of like how JJ Redick defended Nikola Jokic and I mean, best offensive player in the world and has this unusual skill set. The Lakers don't really have somebody who's good defending him one-on-one. So you have to go to a lot of different things. And like the kitchen sink has changed a little bit for the Lakers, but like how they defend, and this is absolutely a potential playoff series, could happen in a couple different ways. Like watching JJ Redick try to figure this out and just trying all this different stuff is so interesting.
Yeah, I thought that would be another really interesting thing to talk about. Is I thought JJ did coach a pretty good game, got the offense defense substitutions coming in pretty well. It was Jackson Hayes through the beginning of crunch time, then went with Hachimura some at center to get a little more size. Even they had Hachimura's him with the big three and a center has been a terrible unit, but actually that was okay in down the end of this one. And then right at the end, just of regulation, they bring in DeAndre Ayton just to get a rebound. He's out there on that last play. And then they decided, we're just going to start the overtime with DeAndre Ayton. And he had a couple of weird plays, but was largely quite effective. And Jokic tried him one-on-one 3 times, got stopped all 3 times. Finally, Jokic was like, and the last of those, Ayton blocked him, but then could have grabbed the ball on a weird play where he just, it reminded me of this clip that I sent out when he was a rookie that Suns fans like got all mad at me, where a ball just basically like bounced kind of right to him and he just didn't move and didn't track it quickly enough on the defensive glass. So I was like, hey, he's not really a great defensive rebounder. And he's had moments where he's been a good defensive rebounder, but Suns fans got so, you can't tell anything from this clip. I'm like, it's just really weird that he didn't go after this ball. I'm sorry. And he's been obviously one of the more inconsistent players we've seen. So he makes this great play, and then it's just like, all right, well, I did it. It's like, well, the ball's right in front of you. Just grab it, and it goes out of bounds. So then Jokic decided he was going to go at him really hard because Jokic was looking tired. It was just kind of like trying to go left and go through his arms and draw a foul. And then he was actually able to score on Ayton after that play, but had he had a putback and also another nice finish as well. I think it was on a pass from LeBron. So that really worked well for Redick.
And so Jokic, that play that you were talking about, that was the Lakers led 125-123 with 30 seconds left. Marcus Smart made a big 3. I had that when Marcus Smart made that shot. I'm like, there's going to be at least one playoff game that hinges on a Marcus Smart 3-point attempt in the last minute. And I mean, that's just because that's who you have to leave in a lot of these lineups. And he made it in this game. That's what pushed it from.
Well, we should talk about it too, since you brought it up quickly, that the Nuggets were putting Nikola Jokic on Marcus Smart. They weren't, and Aaron Gordon was largely guarding LeBron. So I think maybe that's part of what Redick was thinking, was they needed someone who could beat up a smaller player a little bit more. And he did get those couple of buckets inside. But yeah, Smart, obviously the pick and pop 3 from Luka that puts him up by 2 with 30 seconds left. And that was a key play. I mean, probably something Denver is willing to give up. Like, they're not going to switch that with Jokic. And so maybe they should have stunted a little bit more from the corner, but Smart is not shooting well above the break. He knocked that one down, but that's kind of, for a Denver team that's pretty limited defensively, it's just a shot you have to give up.
I agree. And so it's a challenge that they're gonna have to deal with in some of these configurations. Now, hopefully they'll have Peyton Watson back soon and they can change some of these, especially in a defense specific iteration. Then, so one of the big things about the Ayton block was it was getting close. Like, I think if that shot had gone in from Jokic, the Lakers still would have had the last possession game, but it was pretty tight. And then, but because of the block, then it took a little bit for Jokic to work his way to that bucket, but it ties the game with 15 seconds left. And then the Lakers, you have that possibility to take the last shot. And I thought it was interesting, and it's funny, I don't always watch, as longtime listeners will know, I don't always watch games with the sound on, but since I was watching live, I did. And I was surprised the announcers were arguing for, like, to commit your foul to give in that circumstance. And I think you do that if there's a disadvantaged situation. But, like, it ended up with being Luka kind of fading around the kind of the mid-range corner with Spencer Jones on him. And like, yeah, Luka ended up making the shot, but like, I don't think that's a circumstance where you have to commit a foul. Like that's if that's the shot that it's going to be to win the game. Like, I don't know what you're trying to take away in that circumstance. So like, he did make it, but to me, I've generally been very critical. Like, Steve Kerr is a big proponent of using the foul to give when you don't necessarily have to. I think that the Nuggets did it right and just he made the shot.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I mean, first of all, they actually did send a double team at Doncic, and he rejected it. Bruce Braun came over to double team, and he was
That
able
was a
to
mistake. Yeah.
go hard to his left. So Spencer Jones, either they didn't communicate well enough on the double team, and Spencer Jones just kind of let him out of it to the opposite side, going left, which is where Luka is more comfortable pulling up, which was always what was going to happen at the end of the game with the game tied. And I do think the foul to give is useful because at a time when the game is tied and they're trying to run the time down, if you could give that foul with like 3 seconds as he's trying to dribble into his shot, maybe it's worth it. But it would have been asking a lot. You also could have been, very easily committed a shooting foul. I thought it was interesting too that Redick went for a timeout there. I would not have done that with 15 seconds left after Denver tied the game because they had Cam Johnson and Tim Hardaway out there.
Mhm.
That enabled Adelman to get Spencer Jones and Bruce Brown in. Now, they were able to get Rui in for DeAndre Ayton. I don't know that really helps all that much, especially because you might want to get an offensive rebound. And so I thought that was actually an error by Redick. I thought he gave up a personnel advantage. And, Luka Doncic, LeBron James, Austin Reaves, like any one of those 3 guys is capable of taking that last shot and any one of them could have had a really good matchup. So, and also, if they did have the foul to give and they had wanted to use it, maybe they would have forgotten about that had they not gotten a timeout. So I thought that was actually a mistake, but it worked out great because Luka hit a great shot fading away against Jones at the end. What else did you have from the end of this game?
So I mean, because it was important context. There was basically no scoring in the first half of overtime, and part of the reason was that Jamal Murray fouled out, and so Murray he committed
Well,
only.
the way he was playing, I'm not sure that he actually he would have
Yeah,
actually helped them. He missed, I think, 14 straight shots before he fouled out.
I think that I think he made his first 3, and then it was rough sledding from there. And Murray, notably, he committed only 1 foul in the first half, and then committed 3 in the third quarters. Then he's kind of in foul trouble at that point. Then commits 1 in the fourth, and then fouls out at the beginning of overtime. And so yeah, I think you're right on that. But my general idea is that Jamal Murray is a better offensive player than the gentleman who replaced him. And
Yeah.
so
Well, and credit LeBron too, because Murray got his 5th foul towards the end of regulation. And then big first play overtime, LeBron gets a contest, does the sprint the floor. Again, good to see LeBron playing with this level of effort. He also had a memorable play diving on the floor at the end of regulation before he lost the tip to Jamal Murray. But that still ended up being a big play. So then he runs the floor, tries to post up, and then Murray gets his 6th foul trying to prevent LeBron from posting up in transition. And LeBron, again, we talked about it in our small forward rankings, how he's just not able to bring it regularly, but he did miss some time, and maybe he now can ramp up and really provide a higher effort level, which will make him into a much better player. It's just that he's not capable of doing that at age 41 all that regularly. Yeah. What else did you have besides that?
um I mean, Aaron Gordon, like this came up a little bit when we did power forward rankings, but like the 3-pointer that he made, so overall Aaron Gordon was 5 of 10 from 3 on Saturday. But the 3 that he made, just like a pull up, step back 3 that cut it from that changed it from a 2-point deficit to a 1-point Nuggets lead in the last minute. Like that showed his growth as an offensive player, his growth as shooter. Like this isn't just the like stand still in the shooter, get the ball from Jokic to do it. Like he has more depth to his shooting game than he ever has before, and it's not even close.
No, we noted this in the power forward rankings. I was shocked to see that our stats have him with over 2 self-created threes per game, which I believe leads the power forward position, at least as we define them. And, that one was a ridiculous shot down to the other one that was crazy was he got a pass from Cam Johnson, who was at least like tangentially involved in the offense down the end, which is more than he has been. Cam ran a little handoff with Jokic, got it in the lane and kicked it. Marcus Smart had a pretty nice closeout to the corner, and Aaron Gordon, he caught it like well above his forehead and never even brought it down below his forehead and just drained it. I mean, again, that's just how he went from just being a horrible shooter 2 years ago to all of a sudden being like this level of shooter is pretty insane. I mean, a guy who was shooting under 50% from the foul line in college. So yeah, so that was really interesting. And then moving beyond that, overall, the Denver Nuggets were 11 of 14 on corner threes in this game. And in the fourth quarter, they were 6 of 6. They just were firing up. And in clutch time, they were 3 of 3. And so, and these are largely by pretty good shooters. Gordon, Cam Johnson taking these. Although I will say Bruce Brown and Spencer Jones hit a couple of difficult ones where they were kind of retreating behind the line as they caught it in the corner and made both of them. So those ones maybe you're okay giving up. But I thought it was interesting that they gave up that many corner threes. The Lakers were obviously they're not going to stop the Nuggets with their personnel, but Jamal Murray, who's been awesome from three, really was leading the brigade of just guys missing like crazy above the break and from mid range. Let's see what else could I point to here. Yeah, so Gordon was actually he didn't do as much inside, especially for a group that has some limited shooting. Him playing outside more is helpful. I mean, Smart was excellent. I mean, he continues to be plus 16, 21 points. Like him starting, he played 35 minutes. Like if he can keep doing that, like he's just a completely indispensable player for what they're trying to do. And the rest of the Lakers bench is is pretty meh.
It's a challenging proposition, but Marcus Smart has been so important, and he's so indispensable in part because the only guy who's a reasonable facsimile of Marcus Smart is Jared Vanderbilt, and he's so bad offensively that he's just a different kind of player, and so they really need a lot from their guys. But like I talked about it at length when we did the Nuggets Thunder game, that game made me feel a lot worse about the Nuggets specifically in the matchup against the Thunder. I didn't walk away from this one having those same concerns. Nuggets Lakers, like they absolutely can lose games to the Lakers. Like the Lakers are a talented team, especially when their offensive guys are humming. So I didn't walk away with it with those same concerns, even though they did lose another game against a good team.
Well, and I'll say this too: Luka hit the big shot at the end. He had 30 points, 13 assists, 11 rebounds, all on the defensive end. But he was 6 of 9 from the foul line, 4 of 14 from three. Like him taking more threes than twos against this Nuggets team that just can't really defend the rim.
Mm-hmm.
And like again, he wasn't even necessarily being given that shot. I thought he just was taking some pretty bad ones, honestly. And particularly, he had a couple of misses during that period when no one could score at the start of overtime. I just really was not very impressed. I mean, for a Lakers team that shot 67% from two, Luka's had some pretty big games lately, but he really does just fall in love with this step back 3-pointer when, all right, if you're that good, get a better shot. It's one thing if you're on fire and like he can make these shots and it's incredible highlights, but just overall, like you should be able to do better than that, I think.
Before we forget, I'll do the Nuggets stats because we often do in the second team. 41 and 27 on the season, 5 and 5 in their last 10. 10th in net rating, plus 3.6. First in offense, 23rd on defense. And BPI projects them to finish with 51 wins, which would be the 3 seed. Just so because we put it in kind of the whole number terms. This is how close it is on BPI right now. Denver projected 50.5 wins. The Lakers 50.2. The Rockets 50.2.
Yeah, so it's I mean, whoever's going to play the best down the end is what it's going to be. We should talk about the end of regulation as well before we go. Nuggets down 1. They actually hit 2 3-pointers in the last minute to go from down 1 to up 2 in this game, in both of regulation and overtime. They double team Jokic, and good sub by David Adelman to put in Tim Hardaway Jr. for Christian Braun. They double team Jokic. I mean, I would kind of prefer my $25 million a year shooting guard could be on the floor on the offensive end at the end of games, but whatever. LeBron at least was effective from 2-point range in this game. They double team Jokic on the right wing, and he throws a fading, looping pass all the way to the opposite corner, right into Tim Hardaway's shooting pocket, and he hits the three to go up 2. I also thought it was noteworthy in that circumstance. I didn't see the Nuggets put Luka Doncic into action really one time. It was more Reaves, and I thought that actually made sense. Because especially like Denver doesn't have like speed demons who are going to blow by Luka. And Luka, when he gets challenged in individual defense, can, especially at the end of games, isn't going to be that terrible. Where you want him to be is as the low man, right? We talked about his miserable contest rate and even worse, shooting a lot at the rim. Opponents are shooting 75% at the rim when Luka contests, which is, I mean, for context, that's like way above just what anybody shoots at the rim normally. And so Luka, just the pass went right at him, and he should have just started running into the corner, and he just kind of froze like a deer in the headlights. He just like an outfielder who just like the ball goes right at him, and he can't decide which way, whether it's over his head or not. And like it was pretty pathetic that he couldn't get out there on that closeout. So again, Danny, we get to this ridiculous farce. We complained about it. We have the rule change that we would like to see, where if you take a foul outside the 3-point line with the shot clock off, up 3, it's one shot in the ball. But the Nuggets play the foul game twice. And with 5 seconds left, Austin Reaves goes to the line, down 3, makes the first. Intentional miss, awesome intentional miss. Knew exactly where it was going, off the right or left front rim. Just ran onto it and then hit the floater to tie the game. What else can be said about this situation at this point?
I mean, I think we've already said a lot on it. And I mean, you do like one of the other things is that you can say that fouling, or at least having the reputation of fouling, can change the way the team plays offense. You know, like we've seen those like kind of quick shot threes because you think a foul is coming up. So maybe diversifying it a little bit in that respect could be useful. But the most important part of this is that basketball is an entertainment product. And so whether you should foul up 3 or not, it doesn't make sense for it to be an option for coaches to consider. And so they can, hopefully the league can go after that. Sounds like the league office is taking a serious approach to tanking. So tanking is 1, aspiration is 2, and this is 3. Like if the league can hit all 3 of that, we'd be real happy.
Well, and John wrote about this last year, that it's not even necessarily a good strategy. And every study that I've been able to find on it indicates that it's within, a percentage point or 2. And it's really hard to do a study on this because even if you're doing some kind of a play-by-play analysis, it's hard to know when you're fouling. Are you letting the other team might go for a quick 2? They might go for a 3, right? Exactly when are we talking about that you're fouling? When are you going to do the cutoff? Is it going to be shot clock off? Is it going to be last 15 seconds? Is it going to be last 5 seconds? I think it's more defensible maybe in the last 5 seconds when the other team is out of timeouts. When you're getting into a circumstance where you got to just play the game 3 or 4 times, and then you also have to hit your free throws as well, or you might turn it over, and we're seeing teams struggle to get the ball in bounds more as well. I'm not even sure that this is a better strategy. I mean, you're going to win up 3 in the last 15 seconds of the game. You're going to win mid 90% of the time, because remember, even if they tie the game, you're going to overtime, you presumably have a 50-50 chance of winning in overtime,
and they have to shoot early, so you might even have a chance to win it. You might even have a chance to win it in regulation.
Yeah, well, and you also open up at least some possibility of yourself losing in regulation, right? Because maybe either, a couple of things could happen, right? Let's say you foul, they make the first, miss the second, and then it's a 2-point game. You get the other team could kick it out for a 3. Or let's say that you make the first, make the second, then you inbound the ball, you turn it over. Or let's say that you only make 1 out of 2, and now it's a 2-point game and they could hit a 3. So if you let them shoot a 3, there's basically no possible way that you're going to lose in regulation. Whereas you're opening yourself up to that if you foul. So while, and I really, again, I think all right, maybe one team has great 3-point shooters and you don't want to let them get a 3 off. Maybe you've really practiced it well. What about the other team? Like, especially now that teams are getting better at intentionally missing free throws. Like, I think teams will probably, if you practice that, you could have like a 40% offensive rebound rate on an intentionally missed free throw. If you pick where you're going to go, and like this one with Reaves, right? Like, there's the way he missed it. There's really no way for a defensive player to get there because he missed it really hard off the front rim. The guy whose job it is to box him out is coming from the 3-point line because it's only 3 guys to be in there in pro basketball, right? You can have more guys in there at lower levels. Also, I guess at lower levels too, like you're like pushing the guys up the lane more, which is that ridiculous rule. So that changes things some, but every study I've seen on it hasn't been conclusive and certainly hasn't had a large enough sample size to prove one way or the other which one is better. I do think there could be something to the idea of like, hey, we're gonna pretend like we're gonna foul, and then I'll get really close to you, make you pick up the ball like you're gonna shoot it, and then put my hands back. It wasn't gonna foul you. Yeah, I mean, there's also the possibility of, I mean, I'll put it this way: like, offensive players are smart enough now. Like, what percent chance is there that you're going to foul when the guy is shooting a 3-pointer? Like, that's probably a 10% chance at this point that the guy is going to just get it off. We've seen that happen like twice in the last week. Yeah. So, and it also just sucks. So hopefully coaches will just decide it, because now there's, after the Ray Allen 3, which, by the way, the Spurs had a chance to still win that game in regulation and still had a chance to win in overtime. Even after Ray Allen hit that 3, the Spurs win expectancy was like 60% probably or more. So because there was time remaining and you get to go into overtime too. So anyway, like now, but everyone's like, oh, the smart thing to do would have been a foul there. And coaches like, oh, well, coaches want to feel like they're controlling it, right? But you're actually probably introducing more variables than just simply the other team making a 3-point shot, because the average is you're going to hit like below 20% of shots in that circumstance, and then even if they do, you still have a chance to come back and win the game either then or in overtime. So anyway, and also it just sucks to watch and it takes forever.